What's up, guys? Back from the deck profile here. Now, I've been playing a lot of Phantom Knights. Back in the day, I remember playing the Pendulum, King Caliuga, DDD King Caliuga turn skip with the rank up. I kind of built this deck around the turn skip. You don't have to do that. This deck's resilience is just insane. I had a lot of fun with this. I'm going to show you a lot of just insane stuff you can do with it. Yeah, without further ado, guys. It's just a nice PK on the Rusty Bardiche mat, too. I have a couple honorable mentions, too. A lot of things I want to talk about with this. Alright. Let's get right on to it. So, for the Phantom Knights, I'm just playing the 3 Torn Scales, 3 Cloak, 3 Boots, and the 1 Gloves. I think it's completely fine. I don't miss the one of the dudes in my armaments that I was testing with. I can't remember what his fucking name is, but he wasn't like worth enough to remembering. The fucking Stained Greaves. Yeah, that card was okay, but it wasn't like, yo, I need to play this card. I'm gonna mention a couple things about this later. Then we're playing 1 Jen and Ken. If you guys don't know, probably a bunch of you have seen, but you can Shadows Light any of the Phantom Knight cards into these. Give the Ken to your opponent. You know what I mean? So I'll probably go over this a little bit later too. So I'm gonna pull these aside. And then we are playing the horror stuff. 3 Amseti, 1 Happy, and 1 Debnatef Nuet. I still am not playing the 4th name. I don't think you need the 4th name. There was a couple times when I was playing that I enjoyed like having a 4th name if I could reach it, but it never lost me a game and it never won me a game overly. So I think the 3 is perfectly fine. So and once again, this is a 60 card list, and I am still playing the Bestials. Just 3 Lubellion, 1 Sarnier, 1 Druis, and 1 Magnemite. I think this is completely fine. The only thing I was thinking about was I was thinking about cutting these earlier this week and not playing Regained either, but Regained is such an insane card that I don't think you can ignore it. So, and then I'm playing Dangerous too. Each of them suited. 1 Jack, 1 Sneck, 1 Big Feet, and then 3 of the Nessies. So the 7s are very important in this deck because of making a certain card in here. So I'm gonna pull 1 to 7 aside each time. And obviously, you guys know the 3s for the Make Sure a Beanie, and then the 8 to just get an 8 out for the Zombie Vampire. So, and I'm still playing the Adventurer stuff in here. Once again, I'm playing the just two Water and Chance. I think that's fine. I am playing a Legal Knight. I think a Legal Knight is actually just very insane. The fact that a Griffin Rider and a Legal Knight, you can just cheese them out, special them if you have no monsters, or if you have the token, is kind of insane, because like you don't necessarily have to draw into the engine, or if you don't draw Fenrir, like, you know what I mean, like, it's completely fine. I'm going to pull all the 7s aside and talk about these later. So and then of course last monster is Fenrir. Once again, 7. I was playing Rice Heart in this deck. We'll talk about that later, so I'm going to put all the 7s. I'm going to put these guys here and then talk about it. And then for the spells, just the Rhoda, Foolish Burial, Chaos Space. Obviously this card's insane. The rank up. This is for the Caliuga play, to basically skip your opponent's turn. Negates all effects activated on the field and all that shit, and then if they start setting back, right, you can end phase Heavy Storm it, which is just gross. I'm going to put this aside and talk about it again. Obviously the Regained, and then I'm also just playing 1 Adventure and 1 Right. I think this is fine, and I'm playing Dracoback. The Dracoback I didn't really want to play, to be honest, and the more I was playing with the deck, I was like, you just kind of need the +1 for the Horus cards to discard, so I was like, I have to play this, but it's never been a brick yet, so I think it's fine. And then probably one of the best cards in the deck is the King Sark. The second best card in the deck is the Shadows Light. This goes with I'll go back to this in a second, the Phantom Knight stuff. And then this also couples with the Jen and Ken, plus this card's just insane. I'm going to talk about this stuff in a second. On the side note, the only like non-gas card I was talking about was Droplet. So Droplet's kind of funny. It actually can be a gas, quote-unquote gas card. If you resolve the Jen and give them the Ken to draw 2, and then you discard 1, and then you can actually Droplet their Ken after that, by just making it a discard outlet, which has happened, I think, one time only. I just want to note that, though. And then for the traps, this is probably one of the better cards in the deck, Full Armored XYZ. This card just lets you exceed summon on your opponent's turn. This doesn't have anything to do with Kali Yuga. It just lets you make the Typhon on your opponent's turn, which is very insane. Then you can banish it from graveyard to equip the other guys. I'll talk about this card again later. Then the other Phantom Knights are just the one wings and the two fog blades. I think this was fine. I don't think I would change the wings for a third fog blade. And before I go into the extra, I'm going to talk about these real quick. So this card, actually I'll talk about this when I talk about the other thing, and I'll go into this with the extra deck. This is something I want to talk about real quick. So just any Phantom Knights monster, you see this, babe? Mm-hmm. You can just Shadows Light any Phantom Knights monster. It skips your battle phase, but also in graveyard. You could also mill this with a Zombie Vampire if you wanted to, but in graveyard, you can banish it to have an extra normal summon of a Light or Dark monster, which is fine. But you just target this to summon the Gen from your deck, and then give your opponent the Ken. Can you see this, babe?
Yeah.
And then, obviously, this being in graveyard, but then this will make you, the person watching, draw 2, discard 1. Also makes Talon Live, plus this makes Cherubini. Just using gloves as an example. It doesn't have to be gloves. It can be any of them. I think that's insane. And then you talent them too. You can look at their hand, whatever the fuck. So, and then these we're going to talk about a little bit later once we get the extra deck. So the extra deck, the extra dip. I just spent a lot of time on this deck. I think I spent like almost a whole day building this list. And then I was like, I almost wanted to take out the Bestial stuff, but it ended up just being way too good because Regained, banishing a Phantom Knight card, and then putting it back to draw one, just the free draw a card per turn was just way too good. So for the extra deck, the extra dip, yeah, Cherubini, probably the most important card in the extra deck. SP is definitely the second most important card in this extra deck. And then the IP, the Dark, the Barricade Borg. Shout out my boy Cody. This didn't really come in too clutch when I was testing. It did come in one game when I was playing my boy Cody earlier today to add back a King Sark in the end phase, and then he passed, and we were kind of like both going back in a simplified game state, but the King Sark just let me summon 3 guys for free, and it was insane. So. And then the only link 3 is just the Rusty. Shout out to the Matt too. I don't know if you can see this Rusty Bardiche. Card's insane. Also, one thing I do want to note too is they can't make Underworld Goddess with this because it can't be used as link material. Just want to state that. Then for the Exceeds, just the XYZ Armored Torpedo. And then the XYZ Armored Fortress. So what this guy does, just 2 generic 3s. You just overlay 2 3s into him, detach 2 to draw any card, and then once he has no material, you can put over the Fortress. Fortress detaches him to search the this from your deck. If you draw it, you just don't even make this ever. You know what I mean? Which I drew this, I think, a shitload today. I think 3 or 4 times in 60 cards, which I wasn't even mad about, but it was fine. This card, you can pay back down here, babe. This card lets you exceed on your opponent's turn, so if they summon more than 2 or more guys from the extra deck, you can just make Typhon on them. Also, you can manage this from graveyard to attach an exceed to another exceed from field and or graveyard. Sorry, field or graveyard. And then if you attach this one to an exceed like this or Typhon, gives it these 2 bullet points, and then this card gives this 2 more bullet points, so it gives them 4. It's like untargetable, can't be destroyed. During the battle phase, they battle, it negates all their face-up monsters. They can't activate. It's like a whole layer of shit. Also, the trap that banishes to equip a guy is also treated as a equip spell, so it is also protected by Fateful Adventure. You can paint out here, man. It also protects for Fateful Adventure too. So there's like 800 layers to this deck. It's kind of gross. And you guys can like change the extra deck if you want. This is just the only one that I've needed. I think there's only one flex spot. It was Barricade Borg, but it won me a game, so I was like, oh, I'm just keeping it here. Just the 1 break sword, and then we get into the stinky things. So I'm playing Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, and I can't remember this card. Yeah, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. So I'm going to talk about this card for about a minute. This is two level 7s. One of the things you'll do with this is if you can actually get to this card with like a Phantom Knights to like add this. If this is in your hand somehow and you have this on the board, you're completely 100% nib proof. They can nib your whole board, just completely tear it apart. And then this, the Absolute getting tributed, will summon the Odd Eyes. You see this, babe? This getting nibbed will summon this. And then you still have this in hand. Or set, if you set it with Rusty. But you can also, on their turn, or I'm sorry, on your turn, you can actually make a Zombie Vampire with this. Which I do play. Because it's 1 rank higher. I haven't had that come up yet. I just wanted to note it. But this is what you normally save for your opponent's turn. Is just during the main. You just rank this up into Kali Yuga, attach this. Negates all activated effects. Everything is 3,500. So even if they do nib you, the nib is smaller than him. And you're still going to have the token. Also, you know, you can just Heavy Storm. This card's absolutely incredible. This is like the reason I wanted to play this deck, because I saw like all the like the normal ways to play the deck, but I was just like, I just wanted to play Kali Yuga because I used to play 2018 Kali Yuga Pendulums, and it kind of reminded me of that. But these were the 7s that I wanted to talk about that I was maining. You know, if you have no monsters, you can special it, or if you have the Adventure Token, you can special it. Obviously, you know, Fenrir, I don't have to explain this. The Illegal Knight, if you have no monsters, you can special it, or if you have the token, you can special it. Obviously, Nessie too. And then just, you know, any combination of the two just makes the boy. One thing that was kind of cool too is this card's like Utopia, so if either player declares an attack, you can attach one from it and negate it. So like sometimes I would make like, if they didn't have Nib, I would make this IP and like a bunch of other shit and just be like, hey, your turn. And then they would sometimes go switch Ken to attack mode and then try and battle phase over the IP, and I would just be like, negate, and they was like, oh, I didn't know it did that. And then they would like out this, and then it would, you know what I mean? You just IP into SP, and then this floats into the Rebellion, and then you can rank it up into the Kali Yuga. I had a lot of success with this deck, so that, and then the other XYZs, obviously the Kali Yuga. Oh, let me shout out the boy. I think I put it down, but Zombie Vampire, Kali Yuga. This is one of my favorite exceeds in the game. And then, obviously, Zeus, and like I mentioned, the Typhon. Shout out my boy Johnny for the Typhon. I ordered one. It has not come yet, so he's letting me use his, so I appreciate that, bro. And then a couple of things that I do want to note in the, there's a couple honorable mentions with the, these. I'm a big fan of this card. I'm going to mention this card in a lot of deck profiles. Was these. It's like the water art. You know, you contribute this, or this, whatever the fuck. Also, water enchantress, you contribute this shit. This usually, the Zombie Vampire usually puts a spell card in their graveyard for the White Howling after you make one of these two, so it just stops all the spells. Just want to note that, and then you know, you can play Trap Tracks to pop this, and then set one of these, doesn't matter, or whatever trap, and then it summons the guy. It's just easier to layer disruption. So and then just want to honorable mention these, just more of this shit. I was playing Destrudo, didn't really see fit. Same with Call by the Grave. I was playing Rise Heart. The thing with the Rise Heart with Fenrir was it locked you into XYZs too early in the turn, so you would have to force yourself to make Odd Eyes Absolute last, which I like to make it the earliest, so then I feel the safest playing. Because like I said, even if you get nibbed or whatever, you just still play. So, and then let's see, any other of these matter that I'm going to mention? Yeah, a couple things that I do want to mention. Going back to this shit, if you did play, I know Bonfire's coming out soon, but if for some reason you played these three, I'm not playing this one right now, obviously, but these are all 3 different types. So if you did, you know what I mean, fucking go through these, and then you could actually link them off in like SP or some shit, and then that would make this live, the Escatos live, and then you could play the Reproducus and do that shit. I just thought it was funny that these were all different types of monsters. Also, these cards are insane. I would actually side these for going second. These cards are insanely powerful. And also, for somebody that's going to probably comment in the comment section, I'm not playing any rank 4s. I know Break Sword goes into a rank 4. That just hasn't come up for me yet in testing, so I just haven't made it. And then I was playing this stuff, the Witch and the Wanted, to try and make the SP. You know, whatever, that's fine. And then the Almirage too. If you normal summon one of the Phantom Knights, that's fine. And then you can make Almirage, and then usually, you know, banish, etc. Same with the this. If I was playing like the Dark Worm to make the scale to summon back to then make the absolute like Pendulums used to do. And I think that's it, boys. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a lot of information because it was for me. I was just like testing this, and I was like, sheesh. Also, I want to thank you guys for a happy birthday shout out. A lot of you guys wish me a happy birthday. I appreciate it. I'm 2 years old now, which is insane. And yeah, guys, I hope to get the 3K subs here soon. I appreciate it. Share with your friends, whatever. Appreciate you guys. Cheers.